So a few weeks ago, I posted this video about this program that's going to help first responders and teachers with the purchase of their home. So I was scrolling through my messages and I got a message from you, Sam, and you've created this bill and you're helping, or you're going to be helping a lot of first responders and teachers purchase homes. So can you just give us more information about you and why you decided to do this?
Sure. So yeah, my name's Sam Royer. I'm actually the National Director of Heroes First Home Loans and been doing mortgage banking for 24 years. Prior to that, I served in the Marine Corps. Never served in a combat zone, so very fortunate there. But the biggest struggle I've had over 24 years is that individuals that do serve in our community, they, can't buy a house as affordable as I can. They have to put a down payment down. They have a monthly mortgage insurance, which ultimately makes it more expensive. So a couple of years ago, I just got, somebody used the term BHAG once, big, hairy, audacious goal. And I thought, let's try and change the country. I started working towards getting legislation to get something done. It took a little while. I have kids. They were going through high school, so I had to take a little bit of a hiatus, but they're all grown up now. And, I just went kind of gangbusters. And I fortunately met a congressman that served 41 years in law enforcement, 12 years as a sheriff of Jacksonville, Florida. When I actually pitched this to him, it was interesting. I got invited to go clay shooting with him. He was a former sheriff. He missed one clay. Myself as a Marine, which many Marines on here will make fun of me, but I missed about half. Now, I hadn't shot a shotgun in 20 years, but so it was great going clay shooting with him. But I asked him if we could set up a Zoom call, kind of like what we're doing now. And he did it. Following week, we talked, and within 2 minutes, he said, "Let me stop you for a second, Sam." He said, "The fact that when I first got into law enforcement, there were 2 times I had to borrow money from my parents." He said, "The first one was when I had a child. The second one was when I bought a house." He said, "I get it. Let's go." So that was actually July of 2020. July 24th, 2020 was actually my anniversary date, I jokingly call it, with a woman named Lizzie Messer in his office. I give her all the props in the world because this young lady, she's in her 20s. I'm not sure her exact age, but she's in her 20s. She took this, she took her heart, she put it into it, and we just grinded. And at the end of the day, it took a couple months just to get all the legislation put together. But ultimately, on May 13th of 2021, Congressman Rutherford introduced the Helper Act, which stands for Homes for Every Local Protector, Educator, and Responder. It's geared towards the Good Neighbor Next Door program that is already an FHA or HUD program, okay? And a lot of the language, I know I actually read some of your comments, a lot of the language we took exactly from the Good Neighbor Next Door program. So I can tell you, I run a national company called Heroes First. We honor nurses. We honor 911 operators. We honor people in the ministry. We honor people that serve in our community. Nurses, my mom's a nurse. She was an ER nurse. I work with many nurses. They are heroes to me. And trust me, if I was a congressman or senator, I'd write the legislation that way. But what we had to do is we had to copy exactly what the Good Neighbor Next Door program was. And they define first responder, how it's stated now, as anybody that's in law enforcement, firefighting, EMT, or education, or teacher. So we just took that language. We made the Helper Act, and now it's been introduced into Congress. It's HR 3172. We have 15 Democrats, 10 Republicans. We actually were going neck and neck for a while, where it was like 8-8, 9-9. And then the Democrats took off, which I could care less what political party you are because it's all about the person that serves. And now, excitingly enough, we actually have Senator Marco Rubio from Florida. He is going to introduce a Senate companion bill, which basically gives it a lot more legs to run with. So so that's pretty much your I know I talked a lot. I should have probably stopped.
No, that was so great. The fact that you just had this idea and you went with it. A lot of people obviously think of things, but they don't follow through on it. And you've made a lot of progress so far. And this is obviously going to impact so many people, as you can see just from that video alone.
Yeah.
People are excited about it. I think I had over 130,000 views, like almost 1,000 shares, and ton of comments. Obviously, people saying
Yeah.
it needs to help my profession, nurses commenting. But yeah, it's already getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest parts for me because, running a company and understanding, all the people in our communities that serve and do different things, you wish you could throw everybody together. At the end of the day, though, unfortunately, we had to follow kind of what HUD's guidance was already. I mean, who knows? There could be a senator, it could be a congressman that proposes an amendment that says, I would like to add this group, and I implore everybody that might watch this that at the end of the day, call your congressman, call your senator, say, hey, I'm a healthcare worker. Hey, I do this, and see if they can add it to it. I mean, there's no limits. Our military, we are so fortunate to have them. I obviously serve, many of my brothers and sisters that serve in the military. By all means, I want all of us to get the best benefits we can. But, using an example, we just had a Daytona Beach police officer that was shot and killed in the line of duty. He got shot. He was injured. He fought it out for 55 days, unfortunately succumbing to his injuries. And it's one of those things. He was a 26-year-old kid. There's no, he gave his life for his community. There's no reason he should, if he would buy a house or he would have bought a house, there's no reason it should be more expensive for him than if I do it. Just because if I did go overseas and serve in a combat zone, I'm going overseas. I'm not doing it here. Unfortunately, today, our streets and our society is a little bit backwards where people, I jokingly say, some people don't like police. Some people don't like teachers now. I said, everybody loves a firefighter, but even firefighters are getting shot at now. So it's like, these individuals, think about it this way. Firefighters run into fires where we're running out. I'm watching a lot of series on 9/11 and, those firefighters, I mean, one of the things that was so heartbreaking is that the firefighters were in I think the first floor of the towers, and all they heard was boom, and that was bodies hitting
Mhm.
the ceiling. So
Yeah.
I mean, those men and women, they deserve to be able to afford a house a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely. Totally agree with you. I have a lot of family members that are police officers and teachers, so this is
Yeah.
definitely going to help them. How long do they have to have served as a police officer or a teacher to receive this benefit?
Good question. So 4 years. So we have a
Mhm.
4 year requirement. So I know the military is a little bit shorter, but just like the military has requirements, we thought a 4 year time frame was good because at the end of the day, after 4 years, if you're going to make this a lifelong career. I mean, obviously things can change, but that
Mhm.
was one of the provisions. Some of the other provisions, this is an FHA program, so it still deals with FHA maximum mortgage limits, right? So I'm down outside of Daytona Beach, Florida. Our limits in the 350s, I believe. I should know this. I'm professional, but 350s. I mean, Washington, you guys are massively higher. I think you're like $600,000 or $700,000. So the FHA limits still do apply. The 4 year requirement applies. But other than that, the reason we set this up as well, the Good Neighbor Next Door program, really, if you look on their website, certain times in Florida, I think I pulled it up last week, there were 0 homes available. So we wanted to make sure that this program, these individual heroes can buy anywhere they want in the country, wherever they live. And there was nothing saying you can't buy here, you can't buy there. So they can pick wherever they want. Now, some people ask, how does it actually work? If you just take a comparison, right? And we should probably have a screen share, which would make it easier if I had that set up. But,
Mhm.
if you take a $200,000 house, okay, just using as an example, if you get a traditional FHA mortgage, your FHA mortgage is $90 more a month compared to if you pulled out a Helper Act loan. Okay, so $90 for a $200,000 house, that's a good amount of money. Now, let's pretend that individual hero, that teacher, right? Let's say that they can afford a little bit more of a payment. Now, what I mean by a little bit more of a payment, let's say the exact same $200,000 FHA house they used the Helper Act on, but had the same payment they would with a traditional FHA, they can buy about $25,000 to $30,000 more in house. So, like in Washington, you triple that 200 divided by 6, it's 3. So, 3 times. So, $270 cheaper a month if you're buying a $600,000 house. And also, if you needed to buy more of a house, that gives you about $75,000 to $90,000 more in buying power. So, it's all about the affordability aspect of it. And that's really what it comes down to. As a Marine veteran, I bought my house. I don't have a monthly mortgage insurance, so it's cheaper for me. I actually didn't have to put any money down. And I was fortunate enough. I know the market's crazy today, but I was fortunate enough that I negotiated this seller paid all the closing costs. So I really didn't have to pay anything.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, so this is exactly the same thing. So that law enforcement officer, that teacher, that firefighter, that EMT, they will have that same ability once, the Helper Act goes through, and we have a great, change of the country of how we look at people.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you mentioned that how the purchase price works and the loan limits, and you said that it's also going to be available in all states. Is that?
Yeah. So, and here's the other thing too. Like, I'm the national director of Heroes First Home Loans.
Mhm.
Obviously, we can do FHA mortgages. Now, if you work at ABC, XYZ, 123 Mortgage, right? I don't care who it is. If you're an FHA lender, you will have this program. We already have national lenders that are using the bill that we've gotten introduced as marketing, as, hey, this is this new thing, right? They're going to have the ability. And look, for me personally, I'm glad people are talking about it. I'm glad. I never thought I'd meet somebody on TikTok, but to meet you and for you to blast this out, right? This is a grassroots effort. At the end of the day, Sam Royer will fade away, right? One day I will pass on, and my legacy hopefully will stand with trying to help and serve. But at the end of the day, all the people that are signing the bill, all the people that are the Congress, senators, those are the ones people are going to remember, right? So this isn't about me. This is about those individuals that do, put on a bulletproof vest, the people that put on the fire gear, that, the educators right now that have to deal with, think about being a 10-year-old little kid walking in. And I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican, you're just a teacher trying to teach a 10-year-old kid. And guess what? You're getting crucified either way. You're getting beat up, mask, no mask, this or that. Most teachers, all of this is not even, some people will, let me back up. Some people will actually say, well, I don't like that group, or I don't like that group, because all they're hearing is the nonsense of the news, the media, the unions. It's not about them. It's about the individual people that are sitting there serving. It's about that one teacher, that kindergarten teacher, that 8th grade teacher. I mean, I remember pretty much most of my teachers, and all of them didn't do their job to become millionaires. There is no teacher, firefighter, or cop that said, I'm going to be a millionaire, so I'm going to be a police officer, right? They're doing it because they care about their community. At the end of the day, America, even though these are state employees, let's call it, America needs to realize these are the foundational pieces of who we are. And we need to start investing in them instead of beating them up, basically, and saying, look, you want to live in America, we're going to make it a little bit cheaper for you. That's it.
Oh my gosh, this is so great. I'm like ready to call my teachers and police officers that I know.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So it's not, unfortunately, it's going to take a long time for this to get anywhere, because it does, Washington is a process. But at the end of the day, everybody that watches this, right, you can be a pro or con of everything I'm saying right now. If you're a pro, is meaning you're for it, go out and call, email your congressman, email your senator, and just say, I'm in support of this, right? Doesn't have to be anything crazy, but you as a constituent, you can change the world. You can go there. If you're in Nevada, right? I don't know what congressman's in Nevada, but if you shoot them an email and say, I'm a constituent, I happen to be a police officer, I happen to be in a mortgage industry, or I happen to be a realtor, and I'm in favor of this because it's going to help my local people that I love, that congressman should be like, this is a great idea, because here's the thing. At the end of the day, let's pretend the Helper Act doesn't happen. These people can still get an FHA mortgage. So HUD is still on the hook to the lender in the event that person defaults. So let's say the Helper Act doesn't happen, the government's still going to be on the hook. What we're asking the government to do, if you take that $200,000 baseline, it's about $10,000 more in insurance that they're asking to basically insure, because the loan amount's a little bit higher. That's all we're asking. Now, how many people that were teachers, cops, firefighters, EMTs lost their jobs during COVID? Probably zero, right? Other than now, I know the whole vaccine thing and everything else, so I'm not going to get political. But at the end of the day, all those individuals kept their jobs, right? Where other people, waitresses, waiters, people in service industries, they lost their jobs. So all the individuals that do serve in our community, they normally have a pretty stable job where they're going to be able to pay back. So HUD shouldn't have any issue saying, oh my gosh, we're going to leverage more insurance. The other thing is that we are not going back to 2005, 6, or 7, where we're saying to people, let's just throw out or give 100% financing. We're going to just totally overdo the market, right? These people still have to qualify under normal FHA guidelines. So your credit, your collateral, your capacity to repay is still a valid point, and the lender still has to show that you have the ability to repay. So we are not asking this here, just 100% financing. We don't have to verify anything. It's not like that. We're just saying that these individuals, they don't start out at huge wages. And I know 4 years later, hopefully they're making more money, but a lot of times they're paying off student loans. A lot of times they're doing things just to get ahead. So at the end of the day, if our country can say, look, we're going to help you out, we're going to give you that little kicker or that boost, who's not going to be happy?
Right. That makes sense. And in addition to this bill, the Heroes First Home Loans, I was reading up about it, how you guys differentiate yourself against other mortgage lenders. Can you talk about that and how you guys operate?
So now I'll take off my political hat to my commercial hat. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, so basically it's pretty simple. I know a lot of lenders now aren't charging fees to people. We don't charge fees to anybody that serves military, law enforcement, fire, education, healthcare, ministry, or civil service. The reason why, we just believe that those individuals just deserve that boost in life, and we don't need to make that extra money. Now, some lenders will say, well, that pays for A, B, and C. I get it, but we just don't make as much as others, and that's okay. Secondly, we protect their families. I used to run organizations where we gave gift cards, right? $500 gift card. What if you got a $500 gift card, Tiffany? You're like, oh, that's awesome. I can go buy something for my new house. But at the end of the day, the people that we really we work with a lot. Now, we can do a loan for anybody, but that law enforcement officer, that firefighter, that teacher, what they truly care about is protecting others. Well, who's the most important other in their life is their family. So what we do is for the first 3 years, we give an accidental death and dismemberment policy. So in the event, an officer, and it doesn't have to be on the line of duty. If an officer is driving down the street and gets hit by a drunk driver and they're not even on duty and they pass away, that family will get a check up to $300,000 to either pay off or pay down their mortgage. So like in my world down in Florida, a lot of houses are under $300,000. So it basically pays off their house. Now, Washington, maybe it'll pay it in half, but it's something that we just felt that, they're giving us their all. So we want to help them out. Mm-hmm. So that's really it. I mean, we do traditional VA, FHA, conventional mortgages, pretty much have everything. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, the main thing for us is that we just care about the people we serve. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, no, that's great. And where are you guys licensed?
Oh my gosh, the list of states. So, I mean, pretty much all over. I mean, Florida, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Texas, Tennessee, Minnesota. I mean, if you go, I'm sure we could put a link somewhere. I think personally I'm licensed in 16 states. Now our parent company, they're all over the country. So it's one of those things that, the heart of a servant is something that many have lost in America. I think we're trying to reinvigorate it. Because at the end of the day, politics, people's views always change. But if your core convictions are one that you stick with daily, you'll never go wrong.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I'm so glad TikTok connected us.
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
So how can people connect with you if they have questions about loans and reaching?
Well, there's this new technology called Google. They just type in my name. No, I'm kidding. I actually had somebody. So I actually had a very high military leader reach out to me. I served under him a long time ago, and I'll never forget. He said, "Don't worry, Sam. Before I called you, I checked you out." He said, "There's this new technology called Google," and I typed in Sam Royer. But at the end of the day, they can call. Again, we'll probably put the information. They can call me. They can email. I would love. We actually have not predetermined, but pre-made like emails and stuff that we can send to them if they don't feel comfortable. A lot of people don't feel comfortable talking to politicians. I was on a Zoom call once. There was like 500 people on it, and they were talking to politicians. And the guy that was running the call, he's a great man. And he's just like, "Sam, I don't really know how to talk to politicians." I said, "Well, here's the thing, Michael." I said, "They all put their pants leg on one leg at a time like you and I do, unless they jump into them, which would be cool. But I said, they're just humans. Just talk. It's not, especially if you believe in what you're talking about, just be honest with them. And normally they're pretty honest back. So, we have emails that we can help people and just send. And it just very simply says, it's kind of plug and play. They put their name, they put their info, and just send it off to your local congressman or senator, because that's how this will help, or this will work, is that if more people in the country say, this is cool. This isn't about the guy talking. It's about everybody that wears a uniform, everybody goes into a school, and everybody is running into a fire. So, you know what? I have no problem shooting an email to my congressman, my senator, because what's the worst thing they can do? They could say no. So,
yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. If you send me those templates, I will put it on a link and make sure people can do it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think it'll be easy for them if it's plug and play. So
yeah, that seems like that's the thing to do anymore. Got to plug and play. Like I do. I look at some people's TikToks and I'm like, how did they get so creative?
Yeah.
It's
Convenient. You got to make it easy for people.
Yeah.
Short attention spans.
Yeah, seriously. I appreciate you getting this out to people too, because it's one of those things that we really need more people just to shout it from the rooftops,
Yeah, no, I think this is amazing. When I saw it, I was like, well, I hope this gets passed, because this can benefit so many people. And you're definitely moving in the right direction.
Next week we have a big event for it, so we're pretty stoked about it.
What's the event next week?
Well, actually, it'll be Senator Rubio, Congressman Rutherford at a firehouse, actually kind of presenting it to the world. So I know some media and stuff will be there. And, I'm fortunate. Congressman Rutherford I have talked to many times, but Senator Rubio I've never met in my life. So it'll be nice to just shake his hand and say thank you for, leading the charge. Yeah. So, because it was, there's other senators we've reached out to, and I know everybody has different agendas and stuff, but he really picked up the ball and he's going to run with it, just like Congressman Rutherford did. I mean, Congressman Rutherford truly is a man that I don't think he needs notoriety. He's not that kind of guy. He just really has core convictions and believes in service. And that's why he served for 41 years as a law enforcement officer. So, it's men and women like that I love getting behind, because at the end of the day, talking to you, like, you can tell there's nothing here behind me other than my heart being shared with you about who I believe in. And that's what America's about.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Definitely. Awesome.
You can always fly down to Florida if you want. I mean, it's horrible down here because it's like hot and humid.
What part of Florida?
So I'm a little bit north of Daytona Beach in Flagler County. And then our event's actually going to be in Jacksonville at a firehouse.
Wow.
But yeah, we have a couple people from fire organizations. Obviously, a lot of law enforcement will be there. Teachers, they can't make it because they're in school, but they'll be, we'll be definitely talking about them, because the last thing we want to do is take them out of school, because, oh my gosh, politically, that would just, oh my God, you took teachers out of school. How could you? No. Right. So it's going to be great, because I think, all the people there, a lot of leaders I know personally that are going to speak, they're just solid people. And, it's just great to be able to work with them. So my job is not a job. It's really an adventure.
Yeah. And that's how it should be. You're doing something that you're passionate about, and it's going to help a lot of people.
Yeah. So after this is retirement. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody says you can't retire. You can't sit still. But yeah, so everybody that is watching, listening, I know this was long, but we just want to say thank you for doing it. And honestly, please reach out. I'm pretty much an open book about this. I'm not a perfect man. I've made many mistakes in 46 years of life. This is a legacy, though, that, my dad kind of put me on a path. He always served in the community, and it's one of those things that he's since gone, but, hopefully he's looking down saying, great job, buddy. So that's all I care about.
Well, he definitely is. I'm so excited for more people to get involved and to help. We'll definitely have those templates ready soon.